what is being done for the homeless in the community, especially centered around Broad Street when they're sent out at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Right outside my window, I can hear them, I can see them. I personally take it upon myself to go out there and feed them sometimes. You know, as opposed to them congregating at this one bus stop. Granted, my daughter, even though she's grown up in a predominantly suburban neighborhood, she asked me, she said, Mom, I would like to be in a more diverse community. I want to go back to where we come from so that we can be able to give back. But how do you give back? How do you give our community a sense of hope when what they say is the only time, that they see you guys is when it's time for you to be voted in? And then they don't see you anymore. So my next question would be is that what can we do to actually be able to come together, have more public speaking forums when there could be more people that look like me there in the same community? Because no one, if I hadn't have looked at Facebook today, I wouldn't have known anything about this. You know, a lot of them that are out there, they need a sense of hope. And in order for them to be able to get that, because see, I don't get I don't understand with Providence being the capital, why is it that it's the most disgusting place that you can see? It's infested with drugs, it's infested with guns. We've got, in terms of the school systems, we got that school to prison pipeline. Where do these children go? John Hope being one of them, is one of the only good programs that they have out here. And then now they're trying to take that too. So what do we do?
Yeah, I'd like to. My family's been on the South Side since 1962, and people often said to me, "How you and your wife are at the top step in teaching. Why did you stay in this community?" Because we wanted to make it a better place, and we stayed. But the point being, when it comes to the homeless, we just, the incident that happened at St. Joe's, it's not that we don't have compassion. My neighbors do have compassion, but don't put it all in this neighborhood, and that's the problem. There's many programs that are out. An example was down in Maryland. They scattered the housing, and guess what? The kids' test scores went up. So this whole idea in Rhode Island, not in my backyard, fine. If they want to clean up downtown, fine, but don't put it all over here. And then something that stuck with me that Representative Williams said at an earlier meeting that we were at. People have to be engaged. You can't wait for the minister to do everything. You can't wait for the deacons to do everything. You can't wait for all the electeds to do everything. Power really comes from the grassroots. And only working together will we address the issues that need to be addressed, whether it's drugs, education, you name it. But to put it all on one person, deflecting and passing the buck's not going to work. I saw low-income mothers years ago at Flint School, didn't have much education, but they wanted to have a top-notch school in their neighborhood. And Flint School became a model school. Why? Because the mothers, grassroots people took action, and I think, not to relive the 60s, but I think we need to go back to some of those principles.
And if I just may mention in regards to the school to prison pipeline, which is a very serious issue, one of the things that I'm most proud of that occurred within the last couple months, and it's being worked on within the last year, was the reintroduction of a juvenile hearing board in the city of Providence, which is taking students that would otherwise be in first or early offenses that would otherwise be going through the judicial system, instead get diverted to the juvenile hearing board to address the issues in a holistic and systematic way to prevent what would be otherwise the potential start of a school to prison pipeline.
There's many initiatives right now, and my dear friend here has worked on several of them. When it comes to, I go to the prison the second and fourth Sunday for my church. And I got there, how I got into prison ministry, there was a former student of mine who came up to me and said, "Mr. Metz, I can't get a job. If I put down that I have a record, they won't hire me. And if I lie on the application, they fire me. I want to work. I want to take care of my family." So I inquired about the prison ministry, and the committee had been inactive. So since I made the inquiry, guess who got put on the committee? And I've been going out to the prison for about 15 years now. People need a chance when they've served their time. There's reentry programs, and these are some of the things that we're working on now. If you give someone a job, a house, and supportive services, if they have mental illness or they're on drugs, they can turn their lives around. And so for us, many of us up here, that's what we're trying to push as public policy, because if we can take more preventive measures, it's going to be cheaper than incarcerating one teenager for almost $100,000 a year for one kid at the training school, with $40-something thousand for an adult. So from a public policy perspective, it's better for us to have reentry programs, and we do have a number of programs that we're pushing. And my dear friend, Representative Lombardi, with the deferred sentencing and expungement, these are all things that we're working on, but there's a lot of resistance because politically it's much better to look like you're tough on crime, not knowing the end result.
Thank you, Senator Metz, but Senator Metz gives me the inspiration. So for example, I put a bill in a couple of weeks ago. If you have 6 misdemeanors and 10 years have gone by, you could apply for an expungement. If you have 2 felonies and 20 years have gone by, you could apply for an expungement. And of course, rape, murder, things of that sort, you can't get that expunged. It took me 4 years to get the deferred sentence bill passed. It was very simple. It was a felony filing. After 5 years, it wasn't a conviction. The court said, that's a conviction. That stood on your record for 15 years. And you were deemed a convicted felon. That's not a conviction. So what we need is we need you to help push us. We need to revive the para board. I'm glad that the majority leader talked about the juvenile board. I recommended a homeless man, a former homeless man. I believe he's a member now. Christian?
Yes, Christian De La Cruz, that's right.
Christian De La Cruz. Kid put himself to, never went to high school. He's in college now. He's a straight-A student, and he lives in the neighborhood. Again, they need to look like us. We don't need people from the outside. We can do this. We're qualified. We're competent. We know the issues, and we do it every day. But we need people like yourself, a very articulate person that cares about the city, that cares about the state, that cares about the neighborhood, to say, you know what, Representative, here's a little kick in the butt. Go do it a little harder. And you're going to send your letters out. You're going to send your Facebook messages out. That's what we need. Because, you know, some of us, when we speak like this, they think we're nuts. But you know what? We have a Providence delegation. Representative Williams sits on it. We talked about the schools. Don't play the schools off against neighborhoods. We had a school closed down. It was supposed to be, $48 million was supposed to be put into that school over on Bainbridge Avenue. Guess what? It went to the east side. We were supposed to get that. Every kid should have a smart board. Every teacher should have a computer. And you know what? Start in the poorer neighborhoods. That's what I say. But you know what? When you talk like that, they think you're insane. They think you're on something. But these are the things that we do. Another bill that we put, train the police to recognize that something's wrong, that the person's not drunk, that the person's not a drug addict. Again, they need to hear it from you, not by people like me, because you know what, they think I'm a complaint box. But this is what we do. And these are the things that we have out there. But we need support for it. Okay? And I'd love to work with you on this. Love to. Thank you for caring so much. All right, you got it. You got it.